The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Good morning, patriots, partisans, and the politically exhausted. It is Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, and you are plugged into the Neural Left. I'm Julian Archer, broadcasting live from the Panopticon here in Manhattan, overlooking a Central Park that looks remarkably calm considering the world is currently on fire. I'm telling you, the contrast is absurd. Joining me, the only woman I know who can find the silver lining in a mushroom cloud, the legendary Mary Kane. Mary, I hope you've got your coffee because today is, look, it's a busy day.
I've got the coffee, Julian, and I've got the Spite, which honestly is the more sustainable fuel source these days. It's a busy day in the sense that the wheels aren't just coming off the wagon. The wagon is currently being sold for scrap metal while we're still sitting in it.
Spoken like a true resident of Queens. Look, yesterday we were talking about the total amateur hour surrounding Stephen Miller's Greenland obsession. Honestly, the man treats geopolitics like a game of Risk he's playing in a basement. And we dug into the Save America Act, which is just basically nationalizing voter suppression. But today, the bill is coming due. We are talking about a collapsing House majority, a hunger cliff for seniors, and of course, the mission accomplished rhetoric of Operation Epic Fury that is, frankly, looking more like an epic catastrophe.
You hate to see it, Julian, but we've got to talk about the House first, because if the engine room is exploding, the ship isn't going anywhere.
Let's dive in. Mary, you've been watching the floor. Speaker Mike Johnson is currently holding on to his gavel with 2 fingers and a prayer, isn't he?
Look, here's the deal. The Republican majority in the House is currently as stable as a 3-legged chair in a hurricane. Yesterday, Representative Kevin Kiley from California finally had enough. He officially dropped the R next to his name, launched an independent re-election bid, and basically told the party leadership to fly a kite.
It is absurd. I mean, Kiley isn't exactly a radical, but even he's looking at the redistricting war and the hyper-partisanship and saying, I'm out.
Right? He's counseling with them for administrative purposes, which is just DC speak for, I want my parking spot and my committee seats, but the math is the math. According to Notice in the Daily Journal, we are looking at 217 Republicans to 214 Democrats. 1 independent.
A 1-vote margin.
Exactly. One guy gets a head cold or gets stuck in DC traffic, and Mike Johnson loses his majority for the day. This isn't a governing body, it's a hostage situation. This follows Marjorie Taylor Greene quitting in January and the passing of Doug Maloffa.
The OGP has lost more seats to attrition since the start of this session than any party since the Great Depression. They're hemorrhaging members like a burst pipe in a queen's basement, and they're trying to patch it with duct tape and diversionary tactics.
Oh, spare me the duct tape. My thing is, they're not even trying to patch it. They're pivoting to fear. When the black book on their own internal failures gets too big to hide, they start screaming about foreign influence in tech.
It's a classic fixer move. I've seen it 1,000 times in the West Wing. If you can't pass a budget, find a scapegoat. They're throwing red meat to the base to distract from the fact that they literally cannot pass a commemorative stamp right now without a floor fight.
Honestly, Julian, it's worse than that. While they're losing the House, they're trying to pivot to these emergency executive orders to take over election administration.
Right.
It's the majority in name only, trying to make sure they never have to worry about a real majority again. It's a power grab born of weakness, not strength.
It's institutional arson, plain and simple. Speaking of arson, let's talk about what they're doing to the social safety net. This one big, beautiful bill is starting to look like a scorched earth policy for the American working class.
Oh, don't even get me started on the OBBBA.
It's the SNAP hunger cliff, Mary. Today, March 10th, is the day the grace period expires. We are talking about thousands of households, people who were promised a renaissance of self-sufficiency, who are now realizing that self-sufficiency is just the GOP word for starving in silence.
Is that right?
Yes, the standard 3-month grace period for non-compliant recipients has expired because the new federal work requirements took effect in late 2025. We're seeing the first massive wave of benefit terminations.
Ugh.
They've expanded the able-bodied adult definition. It used to stop at age 54. Now what? If you're 64 years old, you've got to prove 80 hours of work or volunteering a month just to get food stamps.
64? My knees hurt just thinking about a 64-year-old having to hustle for 20 hours a week at a certified nonprofit just to buy a gallon of milk. It's like running a freight train on a bicycle track.
It's heartless. According to Boise State Public Radio, we've got single mothers with teenagers, kids 14 to 17, who are now longer exempt.
Shut up.
I'm telling you, it is a direct assault on the family unit they claim to protect. If you can't find an approved job while raising two teens in this economy, you're out. No food, period. They've even stripped the exemptions for veterans and homeless youth.
You hate to see it. It's like they went through the list of the most vulnerable people in the country and said, yeah, let's make their lives 15% more miserable for no reason.
15%? You're being generous, Mary. This is the soul of America being ground into the dirt for a line item on a spreadsheet.
Well, my nephew Vector would probably say we should just put the SNAP benefits on the blockchain and disrupt the hunger space with some imaginary coin.
Oh, God forbid.
Honestly, that kid's digital snake oil is exactly what this administration loves. It's high-tech solutions for human problems they created on purpose. You know what isn't a tech solution? Actually taxing the people who have all the money.
Ah, the Sanders-Khanna proposal. Now, look, I want to like this, Mary, but we have to be realists here.
Oh, here we go. The media titan is worried about the donors.
It's not about the donors, it's about the optics. Senator Sanders and Ro Khanna unveiled the Make Billionaires Pay Their Fair Share Act last week, a 5% annual wealth tax on anyone with over $1 billion, raising $4.4 trillion over a decade.
It's beautiful, Julian. It's poetry. 938 people. That's it. 938 billionaires who are sitting on $8 trillion, and they give a $3,000 working class dividend to every household making under $150K. It puts money directly into the pockets of the people buying groceries.
Look, I agree with the sentiment, Mary. I really do. But a 5% annual wealth tax, that is a political suicide mission. You are going to scare the living daylights out of every suburban voter who dreams of being a millionaire one day. It's too aggressive. It looks like confiscation, not taxation.
Are you kidding me with this? Suburbs? Julian, the suburbs are currently wondering how they're going to pay for their kids' inhalers while the billionaire class is buying third yachts. This isn't confiscation. It's reclaiming the stolen value of labor.
It's a messaging nightmare. You want to win an election in 2026? You don't lead with, we're taking 5% of everything you own every year. You do it through capital gains. You do it through corporate surcharges, like Senator Von Hollen's plan to exempt workers making under $46K. That's smart. That's targeted.
Von Hollen's plan is fine, but it's a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Senator Sanders is looking at the actual problem. We have a landed gentry in this country that is untouchable. If we don't break that concentration of wealth, the Democratic Party is just a debating club for people with nice haircuts like yours.
My haircut is fantastic, thank you. But look, I'm telling you, you push 5% and you will lose the House for another decade. The American people love to hate billionaires, but they fear the government more. We need to be the party of stability, not the party of radical disruption.
Stability is what you call it when the status quo is working for you, Julian. For the lady in Queens I saw yesterday crying over the price of eggs, stability is a luxury she can't afford. We need a fight.
We need a win, Mary. A fight you lose doesn't put bread on the table.
Well, speaking of things that don't put bread on the table, let's talk about the DHS shutdown. We're on day 25. TSA, FEMA, Coast Guard, all unfunded.
Right.
55,000 TSA screeners are working without pay. They're missing their first full paycheck this week. I've got friends in Queens who work at JFK. They're choosing between gas for the car to go work for free or food for the kids.
It's a disgrace.
And yet, thanks to the one big beautiful bill, ICE and CBP are fully funded. $75 billion for ICE, $64 billion for the Border Patrol.
Uh-huh.
So the deportation machine is humming along like a brand new Mercedes, while the service part of the government, the people making sure your plane doesn't fall out of the sky or your house doesn't flood, are being starved out.
It's the militarized enforcement model. It's intentional. They want the public to feel the pain at the airport so they can blame the obstructive Senate, while the surveillance apparatus keeps quiet and stays funded.
It's the fragile machine for the citizens and the tank for the enforcers.
Look, I gotta say, the hypocrisy is staggering. But I want to pivot to a story that actually, look, it gives me a glimmer of hope.
Careful, Julian. Hope is a dangerous drug in 2026.
True. But look at the MOMS program in Mississippi. 35% of U.S. counties are maternity care deserts. We've seen 100 hospitals close their obstetrics units since 2022.
Right? Because of the for-profit greed.
Exactly. It's a healthcare collapse. But in Mississippi, independent pharmacies are stepping up. They're providing free prenatal vitamins and blood pressure screenings because the doctors have literally vanished.
Is that right?
Yes, it's the Union Hall spirit you're always talking about, Mary. Community-led resilience in the face of systemic abandonment. While the feds are busy with Operation Epic Fury, the people in the hollowed-out heartland are just trying to make sure babies are born healthy.
It's the only way we survive, but we have to talk about why the feds are so busy, Julian. We have to talk about the war.
Yeah, look, let's take a quick breath. Before we go deep on Iran, I want to say something. Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen, at Neural Network Media. He's not a media conglomerate. He's a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/Neural Network Media to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running, because believe me, the corporate sponsors aren't exactly lining up to fund Mary's rants about the residue of slavery in the NBA.
Hey, Jalen Rose was right. Salary caps in the NBA and NFL, but not in MLB or golf. It's about controlling the labor.
We'll save the residue of slavery sports debate for the after show. Let's get into it. The main event, Operation Epic Fury, Day 11.
Day 11 of a short-term excursion. Does that sound familiar to anyone else? Anyone remember 2003?
Mission accomplished.
Exactly. President Trump says it's ahead of schedule and pretty much complete. But, Julian, the reality is the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. Oil prices are doing things that make my coffee habit look cheap.
It is a catastrophic success. That's what they'd call it in the Pentagon. The administration justifies this strike first doctrine by claiming Iran was within 2 weeks of a nuke.
Right.
But these strikes happened 2 days after substantive nuclear negotiations in Geneva had concluded. We had them at the table, and instead of a signature, we sent a squadron of F-35s.
Ugh.
We assassinated the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, destroyed his compound, and now what? Now he's been succeeded by his son, Mujtaba Khamenei. And the White House is already hinting at, look, they're hinting at more lethal action.
Are you kidding me with this guy? You kill the leader, his son takes over, and your solution is more lethal action? That's not a strategy. That's a blood feud.
It's the strike first doctrine in action. It's supposed to prevent war by initiating it. According to The Guardian and international policy reports, this is a total violation of international law, but Trump is taking pure oxygen hits of his own rhetoric, telling the world Iran's navy is obliterated. It doesn't matter if the navy is obliterated, if the oil isn't flowing, Mary. The domestic energy prices are in a tailspin. We've triggered a global crisis to solve a 2-week problem that might not even have existed.
Look, here's the deal. You can't bomb a country into stability. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet with a sledgehammer. You might stop the leak, but you don't have a kitchen anymore.
Right.
The civilian casualties in Tehran are mounting. And meanwhile, in Alaska, the glacial lakes are expanding 120% faster than 20 years ago. We're bracing for record floods in Juneau, a 17-foot crest. And the Army Corps of Engineers is looking at $1 billion lake tap fix.
$1 billion for one city's flood basin.
Exactly. We have $1 billion for a drainage tunnel in Alaska and trillions for a war in Iran, but we don't have enough money to keep the SNAP benefits flowing for 60-year-olds.
It is absurd. It is the definition of a failed state priorities list.
Honestly, it's a war on reality. My nephew Vector would say the market will solve the climate crisis, but the market is currently under 17 feet of water in Juneau.
Look, I gotta say, the strike first doctrine is the ultimate expression of this administration's worldview. It's about dominance, not diplomacy. It's about looking strong while the house is literally collapsing behind you.
It's a theater production, Julian, and you know. You're the showman.
I am, but even I know when the audience is starting to head for the exits. Between the hunger cliff, the TSA lines, and the oil prices, the happy warrior routine is gonna run out of steam.
You hate to see the world burning, but you love to see the people finally waking up to who started the fire.
Look, that's our show for today. A heavy one, but a necessary one.
Keep the coffee hot, folks. It's gonna be a long week.
We'll be back tomorrow to see if Speaker Johnson still has a majority of one or if Kevin Kiley has started a trend.
Don't hold your breath.
Until then, stay sharp, stay indignant, and for God's sake, stay human. This is the Neural Left. Like, subscribe, and support independent media. Good night, America, or good morning, wherever you are in this beautiful, chaotic mess.
Good night.